Hey guys, it's the Vitality Junkie here, and welcome to Confessions of a Vitality Junkie. Today I'm going to be talking about how I manage my sleep and some important tips that you can apply to yourself if you're having issues with sleeping and getting the energy that you need to stay productive. So for me, I've always been a good sleeper. I've always gotten around 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And it was when I was pregnant with my son where everyone scared the bejesus out of me because they kept going on about how I was never going to sleep again. And I was so nervous about that. That's probably the biggest thing I was worried about, to be honest, with having children, was the lack of sleep and how my world was going to be turned upside down from this lack of sleep. So much so that I was like, is this what we really want? But of course it was. So we decided, this is what we want, and we'll take what comes with it. But I knew that there were people out there, maybe the rare few, that did sleep. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna put it out there. That's gonna be my intention. I'm gonna have kids that are good sleepers, and I'm gonna sleep well. I'm putting that out there. So I'm asking for a good sleep. So the two kind of big things when it comes to managing your sleep, the first is knowing your biological clock, and everyone's slightly different. So knowing how much sleep you need in a night in order for you to function at peak function through the day. So for me, I know I need 7 to 8 hours of sleep. I do not, if I get that amount of sleep, I do not feel tired at all the next day. And I have lots of energy, and I'm able to be productive, and I have good mental clarity and that sort of thing. So 7 to 8 hours of sleep for me is good. The other side, so you have to figure out when you need to go to bed and when you need to wake up in order to get those 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So for me, I know it's anywhere kind of between 9:15 to 10 o'clock at night, and I usually wake up for work at 6 o'clock. So as long as I'm in bed just before 10, I'll get my 8 hours of sleep. So that's for me. So if you're having issues getting a good night's sleep, it's figuring out what's your biological clock telling you, and also just following your cues. Last night, my husband and I were sitting on the couch at 9:15 and ready to pass out. So that told us it's time to go to bed. I wasn't going to stay up till 10 because that's my usual bedtime. I follow what my body's telling me. My body was telling me I was tired, so it was time to go to bed. So you have to just listen to your body, and if you're feeling like you're getting tired, then it's time to go to bed. If it takes you more than 15 minutes to fall asleep, you're probably not that tired yet. And what happens with your biological clock is there's a peak in the morning when you wake up, then there's like a lull in the early afternoon, and then there's a peak in the evening. So even though you may have been tired in the daytime, all of a sudden you've got this burst of energy through the evening. It's because your biological clock is peaking at that time. So if you're going to bed too early, it could be, even though you felt tired during the day, if you go to bed too early, you're going against your biological clock. So you kind of have to know what your peaks are as well. So for me, I know that going to bed, unless I'm extremely exhausted and I have sleep debt, which I'm going to talk about in a second, going to bed at 8 o'clock, I'm probably not going to fall asleep. It's going to take me a while to fall asleep. So you have to kind of pay attention to what your body's telling you. So that's kind of the biological clock side. Then the other side that you have to figure out is, do you have sleep debt, and do you need to make up for that time? So sleep debt basically is, you have sleep debt. You know that you're sleep deprived if you're feeling tired during those lulls in your biological clock during the day. So if you're feeling really tired in the early afternoon, it's not because of your lunch. It's because you're tired and you have sleep debt. If it takes you less than 5 minutes to fall asleep, if you're able to take a nap in the day, if it takes you less than 5 minutes to sleep at night, then you probably have sleep debt. So if you know that you need 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night, slightly adjusting your schedule so that you can make up for the time over the next few days, you'll start to see an improvement in that early afternoon. So for me, if I'm tired, let's say I don't get great sleep on the weekend, and I know that I have sleep debt. Monday afternoon, I'm feeling it, I'm tired. Then Monday night, I'll probably go to bed at around 9 o'clock or 8:45. Instead of 9:15 or 10 o'clock, between 9:15 and 10, which is my normal time. I'll try and push it by 15 minutes to a half an hour, because if I go to bed too early, I might not fall asleep because I'm peaking at that time. Hopefully this is all making sense to everyone. So you need to kind of slowly build off that debt over the week, or you're going to just continue to feel tired all the time. And when I had kids, this was a huge thing for me. And it's funny because I hadn't even read the Promise of Sleep yet at this point. The Promise of Sleep is like my sleep Bible. It's written by Dr. Dement, and he was kind of one of the pioneering researchers in sleep. And so I hadn't even read this book yet, but I knew when I had kids, when I had my son, my plan was, if I can't get 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night because I have to wake up and feed my child, I'm still going to plan to get that amount of sleep over a longer period of time. And because I was so tired, even though my biological clock peaks at 8 o'clock, because I'm so exhausted from being up and I have so much sleep debt, I was actually able to go to sleep at 8 o'clock at night. And so between 8 o'clock at night and 8 in the morning, I would sleep 12 hours. I wouldn't sleep the full 12 hours, but I would try and get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep every night in that 12-hour period. That's what kept me not sleep deprived when I had my children. But that required pumping and involving my husband, which I felt was really important as a family, that my husband participate in the feeding as well. He really wanted to be a part of it. So I breastfed my son and my daughter as much as I could, and then I pumped. So I would go to bed at 8 o'clock at night. Then I pumped right before I went to bed. He'd have a bottle to feed. He would stay up no later than 11 o'clock at night because I didn't want to be affecting his sleep either. So he would stay up no later than 11. He'd put my son down, and then if my son woke up anytime after that, then I would get up. So I at least get anywhere from 3 to 5 hours of sleep, solid sleep a night, and then I get up with him throughout the rest of the night. But again, just making sure over that 12-hour period that I was getting at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep a night. It wasn't perfect all the time, but most of the time I got my 8 hours of sleep. So I never had sleep deprivation. And on top of it, my kids were really good sleepers. My son was sleeping through the night by 10 weeks. My daughter was sleeping through the night by 8 weeks. Not consistently by any means, but they started to sleep through the night at that point. So there were lots of nights where I got a full night's sleep, and I didn't have to sleep for 12 hours because I was already getting my 8 hours of sleep. So those were kind of the two things that I managed: my biological clock and as well my sleep debt, and ensuring that I didn't incur too much sleep debt, that I could just continuously make sure that I got my 7 to 8 hours of sleep, and then I had enough energy in the daytime to still keep exercising and working out and doing all those other things I was already doing before I had kids. So there you have it. Hopefully that was some good information for you to be able to apply to your life and help you get better night's sleep. I also have some articles on my website about sleep, both for parents and children. So if you haven't seen it, please check it out, www.vitalityjunkie.ca. And as always, please add any comments or questions that you guys have. And I think that's it for now. So hopefully you enjoyed this segment, and we will talk to you guys in a couple weeks. Bye for now.